Now call the February 5th, 2026 Clarksburg City Council meeting to order.
Councilmember Deems.
Here.
Councilmember Howe.
Present.
Councilmember Hyman.
Present.
Councilmember Jackson.
Here.
Councilmember Ward.
Here.
Vice Mayor Ripple.
Here.
Mayor Malpajoe.
Here.
This evening we have our prayer and pledge by Councilmember Howe. Councilmember Hyman.
I was going to say, we can pass it off. Kiss me going. Let us pray. Lord, we ask for a protection over our streets, our schools, our businesses, and our homes. May our community be a place of safety and peace where every resident, regardless of their circumstances, feels secure and valued. Grant wisdom and strength to our police officers, firefighters, and public works, and keep them safe as they stand watch over us and protect them from these winter elements. We seek protection for our infrastructure, guard our city against the hardships of nature and the wear of our time. May our bridges stand firm, our water run clean, and our homes and businesses remain warm and welcoming. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening we have a couple of special presentations. If Mr. Sharp and his family would come forward with the mayor.
William R. Sharp Incorporated, 1925 to 2025. William R. Sharp purchased the business on May 5th, 1925 from his brother-in-law, Art Hamilton. Both have been involved in the creation of the IBEW 596 in 1917. Having established in 1925 and incorporated in 1966 with license numbers were first given. The owners have been William R. Sharp, Senator William Richard Sharp Jr., his brothers Thomas Harrison Sharp, and Robert Whitlam Sharp, currently Timothy Kyle Sharp. The fourth generation is Timothy Ryan Sharp, and then it will be his son Gideon Michael Kyle Sharp. Some of the most prominent jobs that William R. Sharp Incorporated was a part of was Alderson Women's Prison in 1927, first additions to Moundsville Prison after the library in 1929, Buchanan Highway Garage in 1941, built two buildings at Pruitttown in the 1930s and another one in 1994, Canaan Valley Resort renovations in 1970s, the Uptowner in downtown Clarksburg, and then remodeled the same building known as the Sheraton Inn, and then the renovations to the house that the West Virginia State offices are in 1989. The West Virginia Italian Heritage Festival employed us as a sole electrician since the beginning of 1979. Green Bank Observatory from 1956 to 1962. At that time, we employed over 100 electricians, over 100 of the Hills department stores around the country. New integrated switchgear at the Huntsville Prison in 1998, the new Clarksburg City Hall building, Lewis County Senior Citizens Building, Gore Middle School Field House. Built the high-rise and garden apartments at Oak Mound and continue to service and do mechanical work. Many commercial buildings and schools in Clarksburg and around the state. This is just to name a few, not to mention the residential work the company has done throughout the state. So the City of Clarksburg's Certificate of Appreciation. This certificate is presented to William R. Sharp, Inc. in recognition and sincere appreciation for your 100 years plus of business in the City of Clarksburg. Thank you for being an integral part of the City of Clarksburg's unique small town charm and enhancing our community that so many of us proudly call home. Congratulations.
ability for us to do the work in Clarksburg. It's been around for us a long time. And they've always taken care of us and taken care of them. So it's a good city to work with. It's a good city to live in.
Appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
If Mr. Griffin would please come forward.
Just old man.
Oh, don't give me that old man stuff. A proclamation. Whereas much of the state's honor, strength, stature can be attributed to the diversity of cultures, traditions that are celebrated by the residents of this great nation. And whereas African Americans have played significant roles in the history of this nation's economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development while working tirelessly to maintain and promote their culture and history. And whereas Dr. Carter C. Woodson, an historian and educator holding the distinction of being the second African American to receive a PhD from Harvard University, launched Negro History Week in February of 1926, which later expanded into the month-long celebration and became known as Black History Month. Whereas on February 10th, 1976, during the United States bicentennial, President Gerald R. Ford became the first president to issue a message recognizing Black History Month. And whereas this year marks a milestone of both progress and persistence, the 100th anniversary of federal recognition for Black Americans, and whereas the Association for the Study of African American Life and History has named the 2026 theme a Century of Black History Commemorations. Now therefore, I, James L. Mountain, Mayor of the City of Clarksburg, do hereby proclaim February 2026 as Black History Month in the City of Clarksburg and proudly recognize and honor the history, contributions, and achievements of the Black community, as well as encourage all citizens to advance the American ideals of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all. I'd like the rest of the council to come up for the picture, please. Guess we're looking over here, gentlemen. James, you'd like to say something?
You know, I'm one of a few words. I'd like to thank the city for the recognition of Black History Month. West Virginia has a large contribution to Black history, and we want to celebrate that. Black history is a part of American history, and the reason why we have to celebrate Black history because Black history was not included in American history. We want to make sure that the contributions of African Americans is part of American history. Also, would like to invite you to our month celebration at the Calamilla Community Center. Starting this Saturday, we have an exhibition at our building. We invite you all to come down and see that. Also, we're going to be viewing a movie about Katherine Johnson from West Virginia. And we're truly appreciative of this honor and invite you all to come down. We've got a month of celebrations going on. We've got flyers going around telling about the many activities that we have, and we invite you all to come down and celebrate. Thank you very much.
Council, I'd also like to take a moment to introduce our new director of code. This is Ben Love. He started on Monday. So I just want to council to meet him and welcome him, and we're very excited for him to start. He's hit the ground running. Thank you so much, Pat.
Approval of the minutes of the regular session of December 18th, 2025.
So moved.
Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Approval of the minutes of the conference session of January 8th, 2026.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries.
Petitions, communications, and public hearings. Gary Rollins, 87 Pinewood Drive, wishes to address council concerning Stony Brook Road construction issues.
I live on Stony Brook Road, up in townhouses. And those of you who have driven by there recently have noticed, I'm sure, a lot of dirt being moved for some apparent reason. However, that property is not in the city of Clarksburg, unfortunately. However, the mess that they have left is on Stony Brook Road, which is in the city of Clarksburg, that I have pictures that I can show you. And as I drove through there today and got my vehicle, it was extremely busy. It looked like I was out in the field somewhere doing hay work or something. I'm not real sure. But anyway, so I waved the gentleman over and I said, "What is it that you gentlemen are doing?" And he said, "Well, we had to repair that drainage pipe that had been destroyed several years ago." I said, "But that's 20 feet below the ground surface now. So why did we have to build a hill 20 feet high?" And then I said, "How about all this mud and yuck on the street?" I said, "When are you going to clean that up?" He says, "I don't know, because we're done. We're leaving tomorrow." So somebody might want to go out there tomorrow and take a look at that. And if they are leaving tomorrow, it might be a dead issue, because it's and I have some pictures. What I'm going to do, if Annette doesn't mind, I'm going to send them to yours.
Okay.
And then you can share them. But this is, let me show just a couple here, because it's. I feel like I was living out in the country. Where's the better one? Look at this mess. That's on the street.
Yeah, we'll have somebody definitely out there tomorrow.
Well, it's their problem, not yours.
Yeah, we'll have somebody out there first thing in the morning.
Somebody got to go out there and straighten these people out. There's a better one there. Like I said, I'll send them to Annette.
Okay.
And she can get them to where they need to be. But it's just.
There's no need for that.
No.
There's no need for that. Absolutely.
Thank you.
We'll look into that first thing in the morning.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Marissa Ryan, 349 Washington Avenue, wishes to address council concerning the circle.
Good evening. My name is Marissa Ryan, and I serve as the Director of the Resilience Collaborative at the United Way of Harrison and Doddridge counties. I'm here tonight to mark 1 year of the Circle, a community for all, and to share why it matters to Clarksburg. 1 year ago, the Circle opened its doors inside First United Methodist Church with a simple goal: to fill a gap that we were seeing every day in our housing and outreach work. Housing is foundational, but housing alone is not enough. People also need routine, supportive relationships, and a safe place where they are known, cared for, and treated with dignity. In its first year, the Circle has become exactly that. Open 4 days a week in downtown Clarksburg, we offer healthy meals, housing and healthcare connection and navigation, recovery support, restorative circle conversations, smart recovery meetings, a shower program, and meaningful daily activities in a trauma-informed environment. Over the past year, we have served 8,369 plates of food. That number reflects both the depth of need in our community and the Circle's ability to meet it. But the Circle is not just a place to have lunch. It's also an access point. In 2025, 50 individuals secured housing through the Resilience Collaborative, and many of them first connected to us through the Circle. For people experiencing unsheltered homelessness, The Circle has become a safe, predictable place where folks can seek help without having to reveal where they live or without fear of displacement. Another important outcome I want to highlight tonight is employment. With the support of a One Foundation grant secured by the Center for Restorative Justice at West Virginia Wesleyan College, the Circle launched customized pre-employment opportunities. These are flexible, supportive roles designed for individuals who have stabilized after receiving services and are working to re-enter the workforce. These positions allow people to build confidence and skills, practice consistency, and prioritize their recovery without the pressure of a traditional job too soon. To date, 16 individuals have participated, many through our kitchen crew. And these roles do more than support individuals. They strengthen our program itself. Participants help prepare meals, maintain the space, welcome others. It's a full circle model where opportunity and service reinforce one another. Beyond the data, the Circle has become a place of collective care. It holds space for grief after loss. It celebrates birthdays with favorite meals, cakes, and candles. It marks holidays with cookouts and casseroles. And it offers steady encouragement to people who are working every day to maintain their recovery. These moments may sound small, but they are often the difference between isolation and connection, relapse and stability, and despair and hope. This work is only possible because of partnership. First United Methodist Church opened its doors and continues to lead with compassion. The Center for Restorative Justice at West Virginia Wesleyan brings restorative practices that center dignity, voice, and accountability. Together, we are modeling what public-private partnership can look like when the goal is community resilience. The Circle is a stabilizing force, a proven access point, and a community asset. If you haven't been to the Circle yet, we've been grateful to receive visitors, Councilman Deems, Councilman Howe. If you haven't been yet, we'll celebrate our year tomorrow from 11 to 2, and we hope that you'll join us. Thank you.
Michaela Garcia, 2000 Pride Avenue, wishes to address council concerning an invitation to the Circle.
Good evening. My name is Michaela, and I have the privilege of staffing the Circle every day. Tomorrow, as Marissa said, we celebrate a year of the Circle being open. So tonight, I want to say happy birthday to us. Not just the program, not just the building, but to the people who walk through those doors every day and have slowly and quietly built a community inside of it. Because when you're there every day, you start to notice the things that don't show up in reports. You notice who sits in the corner, who slowly moves to the middle of the room, who starts by only showing up at lunchtime, and then eventually asking to lead a Circle conversation. There's one individual who 2 years ago may have been described as a recluse, kept himself. He accepted very minimal services and rarely interacted with staff first. Then he began working in the kitchen. He's now a leader in that kitchen space. But one day he was leading a meal and randomly just yelled, "I love feeding people." Not thanks for letting me be here. Not I really like this food, but I love feeding people. And I remember thinking to myself, that's it. That is the Circle. That's the full circle we've been talking about. It's a place where people move from being served to serving others, from surviving to participating. And another person once shared with us that there was a time in his life where he was surviving by stealing food, and now he's serving food to others who are hungry. Talk about a full circle. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's deeply and quietly transformative. Every day, I watch people build routines, build trust, confidence, and most importantly, build connections with us and one another. I watch them come for a meal and leave having shared a conversation, a laugh, or a moment of dignity that many of us take for granted. The Circle has become more than a place. It's become, getting a little emotional. But anyways, when you're there every day, you can feel that belonging grow in real time. So as we say happy birthday to us, I want to extend that invitation to you. Tomorrow from 11 to 2, as Marissa said, we'll celebrate our first birthday with hopes of many more to come. We welcome you to stop by, share a meal, and see the space the way that I get to see it every single day, because the best way to understand the Circle is to experience it. Thank you for your time.
What's the address there, hon?
It's the physical address is 117 North 2nd Street. It's the church across from Huntington Bank.
Okay.
Raymond Riley wishes to address council concerning his experience as a Circle.
Good evening. My name is Raymond Riley. I'm a recovering addict and I have been clean for over a year now. I've lived in Harrison County my entire life and in Clarksburg since 2019. In late 2024, the house I had been living in was condemned. At the same time, I was very sick from untreated AIDS with opportunistic infections and from meth addiction. I was hospitalized at UHC and required surgery for other medical treatment. Instead of being discharged back into the street, I was referred to Resilience Collaborative, where I stayed in their medical transition housing. While I was there, I was fortunate enough to see them start a program called The Circle at First United Methodist Church, which I still attend almost every day they are open. At The Circle, you will meet three kinds of people: people who want a better life, people who are getting a better life, and people who already have a better life and want to help others reach their goals. As someone who wants only hope for a better life, I can tell you that being surrounded by people who care, people who are like-minded, and people who support one another makes all the difference. Having hope and seeing others progress and knowing that you are not alone is the foundation of a new life. The Circle gave that to me. I started coming to the Circle in early 2025 and began volunteering in their kitchen. After not working for several years and never having held a job while sober, this was a huge step for me. It helped me rebuild confidence and learn responsibility again. The friendships and relationships I made there are not replaceable. I honestly wish the Circle had existed 2 years ago when I was very sick. I believe that if I had walked through those doors back in 2023 or 2024, their staff would have helped me get a doctor and into rehab long before I came so close to death and needed hospitalization. After being there, I've witnessed them connect countless people to doctors, to rehab programs, and to housing. And as a recovering addict, I can tell you that having a roof over your head is crucial in preventing relapse. If you want proof that the Circle is helping people in our community, you can just look at me standing here today. I once had no home, no job, and I was sick, and I could barely get out of bed without assistance. Today, I'm undetectable with AIDS and healthy, and I work a full-time job at the ARC of Harrison County as a community support specialist, helping others here in Clarksburg. I have my own apartment for the first time in my life, and on my days off, I return to the Circle and help in any way I can. For the first time since I was a kid, I can honestly say that I love my life. Without the people at the Circle, that life would never happen for me.
Lisa Sutton, 606 Emily Drive, wishes to address council concerning an alternative plan for hotel occupancy tax proceeds.
Lisa, if I may, for all you parents out there, they've canceled school tomorrow, so just so you know, they've already canceled school for tomorrow.
Great.
Sorry, Lisa, thank you.
It's fine. I was like, what are you getting at? You think we're going to be here in the morning? So, as Annette said, I'm Lisa Sutton, Director of Sales and Marketing for S&B Investments, locally doing business as Hilton Garden in Clarksburg. When we last met on the 15th of January, my topic at the time was simply the ineligibility of the Clarksburg Visitors Bureau to receive distribution of hotel occupancy tax funds. There's no reason to rehash that. However, if anybody needs a reminder, I do have 10 copies of it, including tonight's edition. Anybody want that?
Sure.
Yes, absolutely, please.
Makes it easier to follow.
Thank you. Is this all one? All one, okay, yep,
Yep, you each get a packet.
okay, thank you.
So as I said, we know what our topic was last time. Everything that we had before and everything that was presented before, the content, request, and option all still stand. But this evening, my topic is to offer an alternative to executing the Hilton Garden Inn Clarksburg 2026 marketing plan that was presented before. As stated in the West Virginia Legislative Code 7-18-14, proceeds of tax, application of proceeds. Municipalities, if a Convention and Visitors Bureau is located within a municipality, a county, or region, and has complied with the requirements of Section 7-18-3A of this code, The governing body of such municipality shall appropriate the percentage required by the subsection to that bureau. The option that may be available to us is a Convention and Visitors Bureau located within our region of Mountaineer Country. Mountaineer Country is a 7-county travel region including Mon County, Preston, Taylor, Barber, Harrison, Marion, and Doddridge counties, as defined by the West Virginia Department of Tourism. Several Clarksburg tourism entities have expressed a great interest in entrusting our assets to the professionalism that is Visit Mountaineer Country, CVB. Some of Clarksburg's tourism stakeholders have joined us this evening, actually. Representatives of the West Virginia Italian Heritage Festival, Clarksburg History Museum, Clarksburg Winterfest, and Progressive Women's Association. In support of this option, we directly asked Visit Mountaineer Country, CVB, to share their thoughts on this matter. The response that came from the Mountaineer CVB is that they are willing to meet with city officials to discuss this further in a Clarksburg City Council work session. That the contact details are listed on the front page of the packet that you have, and it shows exactly how to reach them, who to contact, phone numbers, addresses, and email. Thank you.
Thank you.
City Manager's report.
So in city parks, they've been improving the amphitheater access. They're booking concerts for 2026, and they've been doing some field grooming on Moore Field. Code enforcement, there's been 35 building permits and just over $11,000 of fees. We've written 125 notice of violations and 9 condemnation orders. They completed the MS4 report, and vehicles have been tagged for removal. The code department instituted a complaints concern form for all incoming phone calls that were received for the month of January, and there were 81 recorded calls. Once received, the calls were tracked to a final resolution and recorded in a newly created database. This database will be reviewed at the next code staff meeting to make sure all the information is valid, and if we need to make any changes to make this work even better for the city. We're still working on demolition, and we are going to be applying for a CDBG grant to take a number of houses down in 2026. We're hoping we'll get approved for that as well. There is a match with that grant application for demo through CDBG, so that will be coming to council during budget time for approval because of the ordinance that we passed.
What's that match?
It's whatever you want it to be. There's no actual number. They capped how much you can apply for. Our contribution that we're gonna suggest is $150,000, and then they're going to contribute. Where's Jason? Is it 350 or 250? 250. 250. So we're gonna contribute 150, and their portion's 250. Taxes was just over $935,000 for last month, and the rest of the fees are listed below. Finance is preparing for the annual financial statements. The annual audit of city financials for the fiscal year was completed as well. The fire department responded to a total of 270 calls for service in the month of January, and council, the new vehicle apparatus was out front today for council to go and see. So I know the department was pretty excited about that, and that will be housed at the central fire station in downtown Clarksburg. The police department has responded to 488 calls for service in the month of January. There was 4 new officers sworn in today. Mr. Chapman, Mr. Abels, Mr. Elliott, and Mr. Kelly. The department advises motorists to slow down when roadways are hazardous and to keep extra distance between vehicles when traveling. Due to the weather, the Public Works Department has been very, very busy this last month. I want to thank all our public works, our sewer sanitary workers, fire and police during this inclement weather for coming out every day, even when the offices were closed, and making sure They worked around the clock to clear snow, salt the roads. Given how cold the temperatures were, a lot of times salt doesn't even work in those temperatures, but they were still out trying to maintain those roads for the public. The Robinson Grant has a full list for the month of February. For more information, go to therobinsongrant.com. The sewer department's been busy as well. They've responded to 15 sewer calls. They're coming out during the construction. There's been a number of breaks in the lines, and they're going out to fix those. And a reminder to the public, please do not flush baby wipes or flusher wipes down the drain. They do not dissolve and can cause blockages in the sewer line, as well as damage to the pumps. And I'm going to take this opportunity to recuse myself for the next two agenda items.
Okay, thank you.
Point of order. I had a question. If the city manager is going to recuse herself for the next two agenda items, did anyone that recuses himself up here, do they have to explain why they're recusing themselves? Maybe that might be a question to ask the city attorney. Or...
You normally would, yes.
So can we get a justification why?
A potential conflict of interest.
Okay.
Consideration of adoption on first reading of an ordinance of the city approving an amendment to boundaries of a tax increment financing district known as City of Clarksburg Redevelopment District Number 1, TIF District Number 1, an amendment to the project plan associated with TIF District Number 1, and other matters in connection therewith.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second.
Discussion. Just, Mr. Raymond. Welcome back, Tom.
It's good to be here.
I just want to clarify this. So, are we starting over on the readings, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So all my questions stand. You answered them before. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know if
Just
anybody
stay
else-
right there.
All right.
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, sure.
So we have a motion and a second.
Well, one other question I would have would be for Kim. If
Okay.
Kim, would you happen to know the actual true TIF balance that is in that fund?
In the total fund right now?
Yes.
It's 3.3.
3.3? Okay. All right. Thank you.
And I had a question too on the, I guess on the disbursement. Well, oh, is that the next one? Okay, sorry about that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
All
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of adoption on first reading of an ordinance of the city approving the creation and establishment of a new tax increment financing district in the city to be known and designated as City of Clarksburg Redevelopment District Number 2, Waldo Hotel, TIF District Number 2, a project plan for TIF District Number 2 to be known and designated as Project Plan Number 1, the establishment of a TIF fund for TIF District Number 2, the executed and delivery of an escrow and disbursement agreement providing for the transfer of monies on deposit in the TIF fund for TIF District Number 1 to a city escrow fund for the Waldo redevelopment project and utilization of such funds in accordance with the disbursement agreement and other matters in connection therewith.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Discussion. Oh, yeah, I'll defer to you.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Raymond, I had a question, a couple questions on the disbursement
Okay.
of the TIF.
For the Waldo.
Probably, yes. Yeah, since we're talking about the Waldo right now. So was the disbursement agreement where we were going to disperse a certain percentage at different phases of the project? Was that something that we agreed upon in another meeting? Is this just the first time we're hearing about it?
So when we started the first reading, that was one of the open items. One was, I think, what the TIF balance was in the fund. That was an open question. And then the percentage of each requisition, if any, that would actually come from the fund as opposed to another source. So it was a blank in the agreement when we started the ordinance process the first time. So then in starting this back up and recirculating the agreements, I noted this continued to be an open item that we needed to resolve before we started the readings. And so city administration did provide me then with, instead of a percentage, the attachment that you see there now.
And so this was something that the city administration has, I guess, proposing within this ordinance, right?
Well, so the ordinance, part of what it does is approve the escrow and disbursement agreement in substantial form. And then it gives the signers the discretion, as long as any changes after that are within the spirit of what's been approved by council, they can make minor changes and such. But I think that we need to have the agreement in near final form by the time of the second reading and the public hearing. So it's still in draft right now for all intents and purposes.
And is this something that the council, when it comes to the disbursement amounts and percentages, is this something that council could make amendments to if need be?
You know, it would probably involve at that point some official action on the part of council.
Okay.
But
Well, that's what I meant.
yeah,
Like,
you'd want official action to do that, but assuming all the signatories to it were in agreement to the changes, yes, it could be amended by official action of council sometime down the road. It doesn't, any bonds that would come out of this would be developer placed. And since the developer would also be a signatory to the agreement, then I think it would be no adverse impact on the bonds that wasn't being agreed to by the parties.
So in essence, if the council decided to take action on amending this, I guess the percentages in the payment disbursement, from the TIF escrow fund, would that have to also be agreed upon amongst, the developer too and the signees?
Yes.
Okay. And would that be any kind of change to that? Would it be cumbersome to what is provided to us today?
I'm not sure I understand that last part.
So for essence, if there was an action taken to amend the percentages of the payment progress of the project, say if council wanted to be, more heavier on the payments on the back end instead of the front end, or vice versa, would that, if that would be pretty much, a change from what this is,
right?
Would that be problematic? With
as long as it's
with,
agreed to by
okay.
the signatories, I don't see a problem with it.
Okay.
It's ultimately impacting the developer's funding plan with their different sources of funding that they're using for the project. So as long as they agree to it and have another source of funding that they could plug in to cover any gaps, then I don't see a problem with that.
Okay.
So the process would have to be, we would have to want to amend it before it would go to them to be re-agreed upon?
Technically, they could propose to amend it as well.
Well, yeah, that's fine.
But, yeah.
We're not gonna pass something. We don't need to.
It would be ill-advised to take official action without having agreed in advance with the developer.
Because I was just wondering how that works with, so if the council would do it before, if we don't even agree on it as a, majority, would we just be, getting their agreement before? I figure it would be coming after, my point is, I guess.
I'm having a hard time understanding a scenario. Help me understand the question.
Agreed upon by the developers at that point for
Yes.
us to amend it.
Yes.
So if we were to put it on an agenda, and would we have to have their agreement to amend it prior to our vote?
Not necessarily. I just always advise that if you're going to take official action, it's better to have all your ducks in a row and have the other parties in agreement to it before you start the official action process, because then if you don't get agreement, you could end up with some egg on your face.
Yeah.
That's all.
But any deviance from this agreement would have to be approved by council. Even if the developer would say, we want this changed.
No, I think that the ordinance, before it's actually signed, the ordinance allows some minor changes that are still within the spirit of the agreement, nothing substantive, from after the time that the ordinance is passed to the time that it's actually finalized and signed. But then after it's signed, then yes, all the parties would have to be in agreement on any amendments. And it would need to come back to council for official action to approve it. But I would say if we can, let's get it right. Let's get it the way everyone wants it now. There's time to do that.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't the amount $2 million
on the wall though?
And correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Howe, wasn't your statement some time ago was that we were going to do that in portions, like 50,000 up front?
No, my actual statement was, me personally, because it was public funds, my thought was to be back-ended. So it'd be on the back end, not heavy weighted in the front or middle, but more so on the back. So because, I mean, I guess in actuality, if we're spending something up front and something goes awry, we're out the money and we're it's public funds.
Is there no mechanism
I want
to
it more weighted?
So there's an existing, aside from this document, there's an existing economic development agreement that the city's already a party to with the developer, where the city agrees to put the $2 million of funds into the project. When we last started this process, we had a question about whether council wanted all of that to come from the TIF or something else, some other city funds. And so we had a blank for that. We had a discussion about that. So coming into this, I did get direction, and I think Councilor Martin Howe was in favor at that time of maybe funding it all from the TIF rather than other funds. So that's what we've started off with here.
My question would be, I mean, because you're saying, well, if we want to make, changes to this, I guess this payment schedule, this percentages, that, it's better off to just do it now.
Yes.
I mean, would that take an official action to do that, or?
No, it's still,
just
I think between now and whenever your next meeting in 2 weeks, that's the time when we'd really like to get this finalized.
Okay.
To the extent, and then there could, like I said, minor changes after that final approval, but we really want to have this in substantial form by that next council meeting.
So in between first and second reading, then will probably be time to make recommendations on changing this fee schedule.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Consideration of adoption on first reading of an ordinance of the city approving the creation and establishment of a new tax increment financing district in the city to be known and designated as City of Clarksburg Redevelopment District Number 3, Golf Building, TIF District Number 3. A project plan for TIF District Number 3 to be known and designated as Project Plan Number 1. The establishment of a TIF fund for TIF District Number 3. The executed and delivery of an escrow and disbursement agreement providing for the transfer of monies on deposit in the TIF fund for TIF District Number 1 to a city escrow fund for the golf building redevelopment project and the utilization of such funds in accordance with the disbursement agreement and other matters in connection therewith.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Discussion. Tom, do we have, or maybe the council, I don't know, but do we have knowledge, a full understanding of all of the other funding sources the developer is going to utilize?
In the application, there is a budget that does list different sources, and that matrix is made up of state and federal tax credits, and I'm not sure if he's using New Market tax credits. It's at least state and federal tax credits. A developer contribution, which would be at their option, whether that would be through a borrowing or equity or whatever. But then they would put, and then the this escrow fund would be part of it, and then TIF bonds that would be issued by the city would be the final piece of that. So two sources for the city, and then their state and federal tax credits and whatever equity or loan amounts they'd want to have for their developer contribution.
And I guess just for people here in the audience and whomever may be watching the 1 and 2, but when you say issuance of the tax bonds, that is the city's issuing it, but we're not responsible, we're not liable for any of the debt on those tax bonds. Those tax bonds are 100% the liability of the developer.
Well, so I would say the developer assumes any risk of payment associated with the bonds. They would be the holder of the bonds, they'd be the owner. So if something happens with the project and it's not built to the level that was anticipated, or the assessed value doesn't end up what we're anticipating that it might be, and the revenues, therefore the tax increment revenues are lower than what we're anticipating, the developer as the bondholder is assuming that risk, because really it's a mechanism to reimburse them for a part of the cost that they're incurring. And if the revenues are not what was anticipated, then they're not being fully reimbursed as they expected that they would be or anticipated they would be. So that risk is on the developer at that point. But it is an obligation. It's technically, it's not an indebtedness, but it would show up on the city's balance sheet as a liability, like any other TIF bond would, any borrowing of the city. But it's essentially a conduit.
Anything else?
I just had a general question, and maybe Tom can answer it or our city attorney can answer it. Who is our main point of contact when it comes to this project now at the city? Steve Police. Okay, thanks. So I guess that would, because I'm looking here at the signature page for the escrow disbursement agreement. And so anyone who has recused themselves, from this discussion, I still see that category as a signature. So that would change.
I think it's my recommendation that if someone is recused, and they would typically be a signatory like the city manager, they should really be signing all contracts under the city charter. So in that case, my recommendation is that she not participate in deliberations or in the approval process, but that she still sign the document, because I think it's a ministerial act at that point, that she's not exercising any influence or control over the deliberations. And it's a ministerial act on her part at that point, that I don't believe that there were to be determined any conflict, that it would impugn the document or anything at that point.
That's fine. I just wanted clarification on that. So.
I think we'd be remiss if we didn't recognize Mr. Rob Steptoe from Cruz and Associates. You made the trip to Charleston, and I know you're working hard on this as well. And so you're doing your due diligence in the background, working with the developer for the bond, correct?
That's correct. My team is the head of our national public finance, Michael Lambert, who works on TIF-like financings around the country. So it's great to have Michael as our top dog on the team, and then Zach Bumpers, our West Virginia public finance analyst. So we've got a great team, and we're really looking forward to moving forward.
Thank you, Bob. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
You guys did vote to approve that last ordinance, right? Okay. Just check.
For the record. Unanimously.
Unanimous.
Shocking.
CBB presentation.
I print these out because I know you have a hard time seeing the screen.
True.
So, and I don't think it's an age thing, so.
I've had bad vision since I was a kid.
An age thing, it's just because we're beyond.
Oh, I'm helpful.
Well, that was specifically for you and I because there was some discussion when we're moving.
Oh, yeah, I can't see it.
Hello. Don't worry, I'm not going to go through all of that information that I gave you. That's just to kind of dispel some misinformation that has been going around. So you can look at that on your own time. There will be a couple things that I would like you to refer to as I go through this, but for the most part, that is for your information. Really want to thank you guys for the opportunity to come and speak to you. I'd kind of like to do this once quarterly, if at all possible. You know, because we are doing some great things at the CBB. You know, and I want to preface this with, this is not an Amy Comer, you know, thing. This is a CBB thing. We are a we. We are not, there's not an I in team. We are collaborative. We try to be as collaborative as possible with every entity. I'm sure Mr. Griffith would actually attest to that. We're working on a great campaign with them, with the Civil War Trails, to become the first municipality in the entire state to recognize the Black Regiment in the Civil War. So, and we've got some plans for that to go around the Black Heritage Festival. So, you know, just a lot of great things going on. And I love numbers because they don't lie. You know, when I took over about 18 months ago, you know, we were facing some significant inherited challenges, you know, including, you know, unresolved tax issues. We had some back taxes, apparently. The accounting system was a little outdated. We did lose our nonprofit status. And, you know, a lot of our projects were stalled because of, how to best say this, internal conflict, people having different ways of thinking of how the CVB should go. But, you know, despite these obstacles, you know, we were able to remain focused on our mission and promote tourism and economic growth. So we got our 501c6 back. The back taxes were taken care of. And, you know, we started, like we implemented some new bylaws, a very good ethics and contract to make sure that everybody that serves on our board is, you know, above board. And, you know, some performance metrics and grant oversight so we can ensure I talk on the radio, to ensure transparency and accountability. So I've also shared, I put Kim down as the as another user on our QuickBooks, just to make sure that the city knows where our money is going and they can keep a track of all of that. So, and this is where I say that I love numbers, because they don't lie, and you know the efforts are measurable. I mean, the results are measurable. We've received, if you'll look at the growth report that I gave you all, since over the past 18 months, we've increased our tourism leads by 41% through West Virginia Tourism. And the reports are there as well. And what that means is that people are actually going to West Virginia tourism site and typing in Clarksburg, West Virginia, because they want to learn more about us. That's not referrals from different sites. That's not referral from social media. That is all, that's all due to the word of mouth advertising that we have been doing and that we implemented with West Virginia Media Group and Metro News. So, and again, that is all outlined in that growth report that I gave you all. And, just if you want to do a conservative estimate, if 10% of all of those leads actually turn into dollars and just say they spend $200 on average, we're looking at a growth of $20,000 from, the time started in June until December of last year, excuse me. We've earned statewide recognition. We got awards from Visitor Guide that our contractor did. She did an amazing job at that. Our Pepperoni Rail Trail collaboration with Marion and Bridgeport and Upshur County. And that's still ongoing. And, we were able to roll out the Yes Clarksburg campaign to replace the Come Home to Clarksburg. Just because, when people, we want people to think of Clarksburg, we want them to think, yes, Clarksburg. Like, is it open for business? Yes. Are the roads a mess right now? Yes. But hey, we're getting over it. And it's, we have some growing pains. We always do. But we have significantly increased Clarksburg visibility across West Virginia with that campaign. And the data shows that. Let's see. Excuse me. The data shows that that the traditional media that we are investing in is driving the strongest results and allowing us to invest marketing dollars wisely, which the financial audit that you all have and there states that we are actually spending 91 cents of every dollar that we bring in. So that's pretty, how do I want to say that? That's pretty, we're being very frugal. We're trying to be very good stewards of the money that we spend. And, we continue to build strong relationships and community partnerships, as I said, with the Kelly Miller community and obviously the AMP and things like that. We've got a huge project coming up with America 250. That's going to be a huge collaborative effort. Trevor's actually heading that up, so he's doing a great job at it. And the recent recertification is a blip. I've been in contact with the WVA, CVB, West Virginia Tourism, and actually the governor's office. I talked to Governor Morrissey today, and it was a paperwork issue. It was an oversight. I should have called and made sure that they got it and made sure that it was okay, but all of the paperwork was submitted, and because it wasn't done through the portal, that's why we ended up not getting it. But we're one of 5 people that are not certified right now in CVBs. So we're making the strides to correct it, and it's like I said, it's a blip. It's not nearly as the sky is falling as y'all have been led to believe. So
when will it be corrected?
When the portal opens, the portal will open in, last time I talked to him, he said that the portal will open in May. So I will be able to submit all of the information.
So what happens now that we're out of compliance, and we've been out of compliance for how long?
Well, we just got the letter the first of the year that we are out of compliance.
So does the hotel tax still have to fund CVB if we're out of compliance?
It's up to, it's your prerogative. It's the governing body's prerogative as to. And there are a couple, I put the accreditation packet in there as well. And there are a couple of papers there prior to that kind of explain what the actual code is.
I actually have it in my hand right now.
Yes. And what it actually means. So
Ms. Comer, you guys have moved, where are you at now?
we have moved our offices to the Gore building. We're located at Suite 203.
Okay.
And we're
Upstairs?
No, downstairs, main level. I mean, it's a perfect location, and it's also perfect for another project that we have going, which is
$1,100 a month too?
yes, yeah.
I would love to see the CVB moved into the City Hall building.
I would be totally down with that.
I mean, it would save $1,100 a month. We've got that foyer downstairs that, could be utilized, and as well as the first floor. I mean, did you sign a contract with them?
If I may, I would like to introduce and kind of let Curtis, my president, handle that one because he was the one that did the negotiations with
You guys signed a
building.
contract with them?
Basically, it's month to month. We have an out at any time. It was unilateral both ways, bilateral both ways. So she could have an out in a couple of months and we could have an out for a couple of months.
I mean, that could save you guys a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. And that's always been a thought of being in a facility like this.
I mean, I don't disagree, but also you can't get a better location coming right off the highway than that right there.
Well, and that's what I was kind of getting at with another
That's
project
not
we have.
open, though, right now.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
I mean, if we're just being honest.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's no bridge ever right now.
Yeah. So what was the previous rent? How much was that a month?
1,100. We did a unilateral. The way that we felt about it as a board was that we would have rather give our money to invest in somebody that's invested in the city instead of sending it to, no offense, Canada. So, and if I may finish with the Route 50, there's another project we have coming up, which is the 50-100, because Route 50 actually turns 100 this year as well. And it is the only route that goes from the East Coast to the West Coast. And I've been working with some people out in Indiana on a project with that as well. So that's why us moving to
But
Route
will
50
it?
would be great.
But will that project be? Will the bridge be done by the time that the project is completed, or whatever this 50-100 project is?
Yeah, Route 50 is that's Pike Street. Route 50 is Pike Street.
It's the old Route 50.
Yeah.
That's the old.
Okay.
You're
All right.
young.
Four lane is the new Route 50.
I've only heard
I just
the
showed my
lore
age.
of old Route 50. So, okay, you're right. My mistake. Sorry, guys. I just look at the map.
Ms. Comer, you said that there was a 41% lead increase?
Yes.
What does that actually equate to when we look at different boots on the ground for people coming into the city and actual dollars going into the tills of the businesses here?
Can I add on to that question? How do you measure it? Because I'm kind of in the same boat as you.
Well, okay, with the leads have actually it comes directly from West Virginia Tourism, from their website, people searching Clarksburg and their website and requesting information. That's how we get those leads. And honestly, right now, we do not have a conversion mechanism in place. That's why I kind of gave you a conservative estimate. If 10% of all of those leads would convert and spend $200, just say, then that would, the economic growth there would be, well, between when we started and today, about $20,000.
But we can't prove that.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. You're right.
So, I mean, it's just like with anything, when you're trying to measure it, that's why when, you're doing, I'm putting on the marketing consultant hat for a second.
Yeah.
When you're a marketing consultant and you're dealing with, you know, different entities like, you know, the Robinson Grand or the amphitheater, things like that, when your measurement is almost kind of intangible, you have to go a different direction than, you know, because those are places that can give you hard numbers. Those are places that can say, yeah, well, okay, this many people clicked on the website and this many people bought tickets. Well, when it comes to like an organization like we have, not only do we have to worry about every organization, not just, you know, the little, I mean, the ones that make us up, but we have to worry about how to manage and market all of them instead of just pigeonholing ourselves into just like one thought.
So it sounds like there's a process set up for individuals to come and take a look, but is there a process for individuals to follow through with, you know, how was your visit when you went to Clarksburg? What things were you attracted to while you were in Clarksburg? You know, give us a rating here to there so that we can actually start to measure and find out, you know, how many of these people actually follow through, you know, maybe you know, what dates are you looking at your visit, you know, to our city? What dates were you here? Things like that, so that we can actually start to get some kind of a measurement.
Absolutely. And that is one of the things that we're going to be able to put into place once we get our website up and running. We've had a little bit of a setback with that, but, you know, we're working through it. So, but yes, I wholeheartedly agree, and there should be a way. And there's also I'm sorry, I'm trying not to refer to him as Doug, but the superintendent of parks and the Harrison County Chamber. And I have been in talks about, there's an actual company that does that can, you know, basically count how many people are coming, you know, to the events and coming into your town and that kind of thing. So there's also ways to measure it that way as well. So we've just kind of been stalled right now.
I had a question, maybe.
Yes.
So how long has it been since the CVB brought a convention to Clarksburg?
That's a darn good question.
I mean, the reason why I asked that, I mean, I understand it's kind of hard to compete with the Bridgeport Conference Center, but we have, I mean, I think it's the jewel of Glen Elk, you know, the Morris, that could, that I think if the relationship was built there, maybe we could bring some conventions there. Have you all ever explored that?
Yes,
with
and the only problem with that is the places that are bringing conventions in, they want the ease of being able to stay and play where they're meeting.
Okay, where it can be.
So yeah, that's been like the biggest issue. However, again, I will refer to the America 250 plan that we have. That is, we're going to utilize that as much as we can to highlight Clarksburg and to show that, you know, we are a place to contend with when it comes to, you know, conferences or conventions and that kind of thing. The main thing that's holding us back right now is if we had a hotel in town or some place for people to stay. I mean, we're doing a stay and play package right now with Kim because she has 5 suites over at the Gore. But if we had something that had a little bit more room, that would make it a little bit easier.
And I just have one more question. When the Robinson Grand has like an event, a concert or whatever, do you all sort of you know, work out a plan with them to where there could be like a, you know, like some sort of dinner package or something, you know, with a local restaurant in Clarksburg, or, you know, or hotel stay, you know, maybe at the Hilton Garden Inn, something like that, you know, because I think that really would attract, you know, while you have folks here, you know, you might as well give them incentive to have the whole experience.
That's where those stay and play weekends are going to come in to play. So and the way that we're hoping to do that is to position it and to package it, because we've been working with James from Cartoon Headquarters, and of course, Douglas Splash Zone, MK Airsoft, those places. We're trying to package it to where it would be, where people from Weston would even want to take advantage of it, because it's the price is so good and it's such a good bundle. So, good idea. Thank you.
Anybody else have questions for Ms. Coleman?
Did you mention funded through the end of the fiscal year?
Oh, yeah, and we are funded through the fiscal. Yeah.
Which is June 30th?
Yes.
June 30th?
Correct.
So, what are the hours of the CBB?
Well, right now, we don't have internet service, so I've been having to do paperwork at home and then go in the afternoon and move the office. So, but once we get, the internet is coming tomorrow, and the office should be hopefully set up in a couple weeks, and we'll be able to completely open up for business.
And then what will the hours be then?
We're looking at, we're kind of still working on like what they're exactly going to be, because there are some days that like I'm delivering things or I'm in meetings, so, and I'm the only person, so the office can't be open.
It'll be 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday. When she's not there, the phone will be forwarded to her cell phone. So she can still answer office calls unless she's off sick or vacation or training, which is required through the accreditation.
So, and we've had some discussions before. Is there some kind of radius that you have to, as far as advertising specific events? Is there some kind of radius that you have to reach outside of? I'm just curious because I don't see a lot of advertising for specific events from the CVB. I love talk radio, so I hear the Yes Clarksburg campaigns. But I see advertisements from the Marion CVB, and the number that is stuck in my head is a 50-mile radius.
Correct.
And so obviously I guess they're saying on social media they're advertising outside of the 50 miles, but it's really aimed at people who are going to go for a couple hours. So are there plans to do individual events? Because the Robinson Grand it has an advertising budget, and I think they're doing a really great job of advertising single events, and I think that Doug or the parks are doing a good job with the amphitheater, and I don't see that from the CVB, and that's a concern.
Well, you do, but just not directly, because as right now we gave them $5,000 as a grant for advertising to the RG.
Okay.
And we were actually before this, we were actually getting ready to start a program with them. It was going to be a pilot program, partnership with them through social media, and because we were starting to expand our marketing and expand it into like the social media and digital, and advertise those individual events. So it was a neat idea that Paul and Ian brought to the board, and the board agreed that, but unfortunately that's on hold as well.
What's the process to get the flyers to the rest areas?
I've been delivering them.
To all the rest areas?
Before the Italian Heritage Festival, I hit all of them.
There's not a way to just mail it out or get it a more effective, efficient way to do that? Because I've dropped off a few to the beach. I was on the way to the beach. Tina gave me a whole box. I dropped at 3 different rest areas because My son was in the last one too, so that's probably why I did it. But so I just a more efficient way, like, because I always want to, I always stop the rest area. My son always wants to go grab it. I was like, buddy, leave it there. We know what's going on. Like, so I just wanted to know if it was official. Because a few times we've been there hasn't been any there.
Which one's out?
The one by Morgantown's out. The one right before down by Beckley is out. Tamarack, no, I think
Tamarack should be
Blue Ridge,
good.
Blue Ridge one or something.
Mm.
It's like past.
Like Bluefield, Princeton.
Yeah, that's where. Yeah.
Because I was in Lewisburg a couple weeks ago. So.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, it's a little bit more cost effective for me to deliver them. And there's times when, like, especially with Tamarack, they've called me and said, hey, we need them like now. So, and I've had to run down and take them to them.
It's more cost effective hand delivering them.
Have you, they're
I guess it's, yeah.
Yeah. We're talking 60 in a box, and those boxes probably weigh about what? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I mean, yeah.
And the mail's not cheap anymore.
Is there maybe we can partner with, other CVBs that are sending them out too? Can you do like, I don't know, I'm just trying to think. Because that's one, when growing up, you always want to stop in the rest areas. You always want to grab all those things. Like, so that's just one thing that always sticks to me is from CVBs like that is like the main goal is getting those things filled.
Correct.
But if there's no efficient way, then I guess you're driving.
Any other questions, Ms. Cole?
I don't see it in the packet, but I'll be honest, I kind of just perused through it until I got to this one. But is there a list of the seven? Is there 7 members that make up comprise of the board, or is it 8 or 9?
Let's see, we 7.
7. Okay. There's not a list in here. I was just wondering if we could get a list of who the board members are.
Oh, absolutely.
I know one.
No.
You used to be 9?
Yes. At one time, yes. But
Minimum 7. The max is 9.
Correct.
That's why I was asking 7, 8, or 9.
correct.
I thought there was 9 at one time.
Yeah. There's when we changed there's a lot of things have changed.
I try to be on.
But yeah, I'll send that to you.
A long, long time ago.
Well, this
They
could.
had the best Christmas party.
Well, I've never been to one.
Me either.
So are these the bylaws? Have they changed since, what year was that? When they originally changed in 1920, 21?
Yes, those bylaws were adopted in November of last year.
Okay, so these are new bylaws. Okay. All right. So when it says the city of Clarksburg shall serve as a limited member of the sole purpose of providing public oversight and ensuring alignment with the community's tourism and economic development goals. So who's the city's oversight? Us?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tiffany, you have a seat on there, though. Tiffany's
Yes.
got a seat on there.
Is that automatic? Because it's not in here. That's what I was wondering.
No, we voted.
He's voted to accept it. They voted me on the board. However, going forward, the proposal is to change it so that there's a representative from Parks on there, there's a representative from the RG, and a representative from the city automatically.
No
As voting
members?
Oh,
As
they're
voting
all,
members.
Yeah, they're all voting members.
Yeah.
Kathy Collins was on for forever.
Those are the old bylaws when the mayor is automatic.
Oh, okay.
Which there are, I mean, I know Bridgeport does it that way. The mayor's automatically on it. So,
Okay, thank you, Ms. Coleman.
hey, thank you. If anybody has any questions, please let me know, and please do not take me leaving as any sort of this, but I have classes then. And as I talked to Jenny, the mayor, you don't mess with none.
I'm sorry?
This is just like what I told you earlier, you don't want to mess with a none. A none.
None of your business.
Sister.
I've had them for many years. Stan still has a bruise from the war. Yep,
Go ahead.
Consideration of the approval of the financing of the new aerial ladder truck.
Well, I think we need to decide which, are we going 10 years, 12 years, 15 years?
The recommendation from staff is 12 years.
Well, I'll move to award the tax exempt financing to MVB Bank for 12 years at a rate of 4.35% interest.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for MVB Bank. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Consideration of creating a business advisory committee.
This is for discussion purposes. I just want to get some direction from council. So we would like to create a business advisory committee. I foresee it being comprised of 3 staff members and 3 to 5 members of the public to bring recommendations forward to council, to bring new businesses into town, to come up with new business initiatives, and to work on business retention in the city. And wanted to get council's thoughts. If council thinks this is a good idea, I will draft up an ordinance for the next council meeting. There'll be no budget associated with this. If anything comes, those recommendations come out that would need funding, that would come to council to vote on.
The 3 to 5 people from the public that you're talking about, will these be business owners?
Yes,
that-
there will be some
from the
requirements.
city?
Requirements, and that will be all outlined in the ordinance on what those would be.
I'm personally, I'm interested in it and generally approve the idea, but I really can't say until I see an outline of the committee in front of me. So I would have even liked to have seen there. Am I missing? There was nothing, correct?
No, it's
in the
just,
packet. Okay.
We discussed it at the work session.
Yeah, it was discussed
Yeah.
a couple months ago.
Gotta jog my memory sometimes, Jared.
Not that long.
But just that, well, 1st of February, so
It
technically.
was in December.
Yeah, well.
Or November, and the work session might have been in November.
I think it's a good idea, and I'll tell you why, because the next agenda item, which I'll talk at length, I think if we are going to do anything that affects businesses, either positively or adversely, I think that having some businesses at the table that knows what's going on and experiences that hardship, and also experiences profitability and strength in our community should be at the table. I just don't, sometimes I feel like that, when we're trying to do something good for businesses, we're not business people, we're not business owners. And I think sometimes we cut out some because of our lack of knowing how business works. So I think this would be, I guess, a good strategy going forward, but I think I would like to see kind of like a structure and what that would look like too.
That would be brought at the next meeting.
Okay, all right. But it won't be brought as an ordinance, right?
Yes, it will. It was already been on the work agenda.
Well, I would personally, I would recommend it not be on the agenda for a vote, because I think it's going to put us in the same situation as we are on the next agenda item, where I don't think we had a clear enough time to really comprehend, absorb it, and discuss of what was being provided to the business owners and the district that was chosen. I just don't think it was prudent to have it on there then. But I prefer personally that we have less city administration on the business advisory committee. I think it should be heavily weighted more to the property owners and business owners within the city.
And I would support that. And I think instead of just bringing it to the next meeting as something to vote on, either bring it to a work session or just bring it bring it on, bring it as
I,
discussion.
honestly, I don't remember talking anything about who was going to be on it, how many city administration people on it. I mean, if we did, then I must have missed the work session.
But in all fairness, it seemed like to me it was like a brief conversation, kind of like a side,
Well, I mean, I think we chose to make it brief, but it was there to have it so we can get this moving forward.
Well, but I think, again, I mean, if this is really going to work, I mean, or we could just draft one, pass it, and then when it fails, we could say, we tried. Or we could bring it, look at it, really have good discussions of, is there something we could tweak? If there's something that needs to be added, maybe deleted. I think we just need to have the opportunity to express ourselves and, for that we feel is the best way, not just bring it and then say, I don't like that piece. And then you want to force somebody to vote no on something just because they haven't had an ample amount of time to really review things, question it, and get other opinions from other council members, community members, business owners, property owners.
I don't disagree with you, but to me, I brought it back up. I brought it up to work session and brought it back up to put back on here because no offense to anybody, we brought it up. Nobody really had anything negatively of it, so it seemed positive. So I figured it would, everybody just made their points if they had any, and that's why I wanted to get it done. I think we need it.
I guess
I'm okay with bringing it back to a work session, but just we already had that opportunity. As long as we do it next time.
I guess my concern is
We have a work session next Thursday.
we're going to have some business owners sitting around and not sitting around, but here at these meetings and telling city staff kind of what we already know, and I think we hear enough from business owners in the area about what we need and what the city needs. And, it's, I think, I'd like to see exactly what it says, but, to me, it's, I think you're going to be spinning wheels with, well, we need this, and the city can't deliver on a lot of that stuff, and we'll see, I guess, I'm not opposed to it. I just.
On the next work session and then put it on the next agenda.
The next work session, though, is a budget work session.
Thursday, isn't it?
I think there's one before the next council meeting too. That's what I saw. That could be another recap of the budget session, but.
Next one's on the
When's
budget,
that?
and then before
I thought that
the
was just to
second.
listen to the proposals of the nonprofits.
Oh, is that what that's?
I don't know.
Well, yeah.
That's later, but hopefully, we were thinking about having a budget on there. I've been set back a week because I've been sick. So I don't know if you're ready for that or not. but we could definitely do
I was just speaking from experience last year where we did 2 hours with the nonprofits and then we did budget discussion afterwards. I thought that's the way it happened every year.
We were going to, but Kim's been very ill, so we'll probably have to bump it, unfortunately. Sorry, Kim.
I mean, are we not limiting the people that are asking for money to a time frame?
Yes.
Reading?
We
I
gave
mean,
her 5 minutes.
5 minutes, because we went through, 2 hours last year?
It was a long, I think there was a time limit though last year. It was still a long time. I think we started at 5:30 instead of 5. But I mean, I don't, if we're not going to discuss the budget, then we should be able to commit to a.
I think the best thing to do would have the city manager and staff create a basically bylaws for it, and we can look it over before the next budget session or the next work session rather, and we can take a look at it and maybe tweak it and put it together for a vote possibly in March.
Yeah, I just want to get things done. That's why, I'm a little bit frustrated now, but I want to get things done. This is very.
Well, it's going to need bylaws and everything else.
Again, I'm just cautious to slow down because I think I think you're right. I mean,
I don't disagree with what you're saying. No,
yeah,
I'm not saying that.
I just don't want to. So,
I'm going to move to table this until
It was
we.
not for a vote, it's just for discussion.
Oh, it says
Consideration.
Oh, my apologies.
I'll move the table until we see some outlines, plans.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to table, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Discussion and consideration in regard to the one-time downtown construction impact business grant program.
You guys want to get your list?
Where's that at? Where's that? Is it in the packet? Is it in the packet?
No.
Oh. Where is it? I didn't get it.
Here it goes. We're down the pipe.
Better late than never.
Anyway, in this discussion phase on this,
We haven't voted on it yet.
no, well,
It says discussion.
Can you explain,
Well, I'm not sure what we're doing, so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You and me. One starts.
okay.
Do you need one?
What, we can't vote?
Well, I guess we're moving on. So what are we considering?
I think we want to do the discussion first, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the same agenda.
So we're under discussion.
I mean, if there's consideration based upon a discussion, there could be a consideration. Then if there isn't, then there just be no consideration.
How's that on the same agenda item? Should
The
it
word
be
and.
separate?
The word and, yeah.
I see the and, but still G. Okay, it doesn't make sense to me, but let's move forward.
It could be and or. And discussions and or consideration.
Anyway, can we start discussion on it?
Sure,
Okay.
as long as it's the right thing to do.
All right, so
You have the floor.
with discussion on this, and then I'll put the agenda item on there because I've been receiving emails and complaints and texts about, why some businesses have been chosen, why some haven't. I appreciate the city manager clarifying some of these things with email on the whole process of this. But within the process of choosing these downtown businesses, I have some questions. So why is the city identifying downtown businesses and completing the majority of applications for the businesses? Does the city just automatically know what businesses have been impacted and how they've been impacted?
Because the ordinance wasn't written on impact, the criteria of it was retail businesses. So yes, they're easily identifiable.
Okay.
And we did that to make it easier for the businesses because the complaint from the ARPA grant program that I heard a lot about was the fact that people didn't know about it. People missed a deadline. I wasn't here at that time. So the simplest way for us to do it was identify all the businesses, fill out the application as much as we could. There's 3 sections that we don't fill out, and I've personally been going to every business and getting them to finish filling out the application sections and giving them a check. And I've been talking to them and thanking them for their patience with the downtown construction. We appreciate their business, leaving my card and my cell number, so if they have any questions or concerns, they can contact me anytime.
So the city has decided which of these businesses. There was no application that these businesses initiated, right?
I'm not sure what that question is.
So if there's an application, the businesses themselves didn't apply themselves. We just identified who these businesses are, and then we did 2/3 of the application with them, and then we go out and do the rest with them. So we made that decision. Which, that's a nice thing for us to do, but I think that it's kind of a slippery slope if we're deciding from the get-go, which businesses are going to be eligible for this and which not. For example, there's a business that's located at the PWA, Dish and Design Company. Now, they are a prep service and a catering business, but from the email I got that her customers will no longer come to the establishment for pickups. So she's had to make different arrangements, the owner has, to start prepping at other locations. This is a small business that has been directly impacted, by this downtown, construction. But I don't see them on the list. And I get it, this is for downtown, but I'm still going to say, you look at, Northview, Cosmo's Kitchen. They're just getting annihilated by this. I mean, they can even get parking. And in Northview, you know, is our biggest neighborhood in the city, pretty much built Clarksburg. And we're leaving them out. So yes, the reason why I want to discuss this is because I just think that, you know, by us as a city, and plus this should have been on a work session before we even, you know, tried to adopt something like this. And maybe we should have, you know, and this is why I think this creation of the Business Advisory Committee, I think that's a good idea. We should have probably done that before we done this. That way there would have been a lot more input from businesses to say, hey, these are the businesses here in the downtown who have been impacted by this, instead of us deciding whether or not which businesses are going to get it or not. So that's, you know, that's my discussion with this, and my, you know, and my hope would be moving forward that if we do have another situation like this where we are giving disbursements of money to, you know, to folks that are impacted by anything, or businesses are impacted by anything, that what happens in the city adversely impacts them, we at least go to the business community first and work with them on trying to develop a plan on which businesses need, you know, would be the best. Now, that's no guarantee that every business will get an opportunity. They won't. But I think it's a hell of a lot better plan than what we have than we had last week presented to us. Now, I admit, yeah, I voted for it because, you know what, 34 businesses, you know, getting funding is a hell of a lot better than none. But I'm still very upset of the fact that, you know, that there are a handful of businesses that were left out of this, and we didn't even take the time to try to identify those businesses, or even bring them to the table to develop a plan like this. So you know, that's all I got to say about it. If anyone else has any discussion about it, they can. But, you know, I'm just, you know, like I said, when I receive emails like this, you know, that they weren't accepted, you know, I don't know. I just have a problem with that. So.
Well, with all due respect, one, Northview's not in downtown. It's not in the downtown district. And we don't have an open purse here where we can dig in and just give out money to everyone. This was a best plan that we could come up with, you know, to take care of some of the people. You can please some of the people all the time, all the people some of the time, but you can't please all the people all the time. We don't have funding like that we can afford to just spread the money all over the city, because if we start doing that, if we sling that door open, then we're going to have businesses from every corner of the city reaching out saying, well, I was affected. We understand that people were affected, but you know what? We're doing our very best to try to make Clarksburg better. And, you know, truthfully, my thought was, you know what, let's not even do it at all. Let's not even do it at all.
Well, that's a good question.
Why are we paying people to make the city better for them when in the long run, they're going to benefit from this? I understand people are taking a hit, you know, but it's a short-term pain for a long-term gain. And, you know, we have to start accepting that at some point. You know, there's a lot more, hopefully, there's going to be more of this to come. You know, I'm sure that, you know, I remember my first year on, the state came to us and they said, they're going to replace 8 bridges here in the city. You know, so far we've only seen what, 1 or 2? So hopefully if they're going to do more bridges, you know what, it's going to be a little more painful. But, you know, this is what progress looks like. It's hurtful, you know, and people choosing not to come downtown. You know what? We all drive these same streets, these same banged up, beat up roads, you know, I mean, but where do you suggest that we get all these monies from to just start?
I didn't say suggested getting all these monies, you know, from. I mean, matter of fact, I kind of agree with you on that. I mean, if we're, you know, maybe we shouldn't have done it, but I still think it's a kind gesture that we did. I'm just saying that the next time we do something like this, we may want to bring some business owners to develop the plan with us. And I just think it's kind of ironic that I see on the agenda item before it says, you know, consideration of creating a business advisory committee. I mean, that's great. I wish we'd have had a business advisory committee before to discuss this and to come up with a plan with this before we even implemented that.
That's why people elected us. They elected us to make the hard decision. They elected us to get these long emails that we have to read and that we have to sit up here and explain our votes on. That's what this is all about.
And I'm doing that. I voted for it. Yeah.
You know, I got a couple questions. First, can you tell me what in compliance is the definition of in compliance means in regards to the infrastructure grant program. What does that entail?
They have an active city business license, they're up to date with their B&O, they're up to date with their fire fees. The only ones on that list are listed that are, so when I'm doing the compliance first, when they're not in compliance, we're making phone calls to see how we can get them into compliance.
And then follow up for Wayne's email that he got. Is Dishton Design Company located at the PWA since 2024? Is that had been identified in our records as being even a business in Clarksburg or in compliance?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then I noticed that the dispensary, the Next Level Wellness dispensary right across the street from McDonald's, was that identified? And then when it comes to that, is that something we really want to be doing? Is giving taxpayer money or ARPA funds to cannabis dispensary?
So cannabis dispensary in West Virginia, you have to have a valid license from the doctor, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so I would say whether people personally agree with it or not, they're still following, it's legal.
Sure.
Well, I do agree it's legal, but just as a technicality, where do these funds come from that we're utilizing?
The interest from the ARPA.
So that's federal funds. And right now, under the federal law, Chief, so I would say that probably shouldn't be, because and I'm not saying anything against them, but if that's not in compliance with federal law, we're using federal funds, interest, to fund something the federal government says is a Schedule I drug.
I was just clarifying. I didn't see them on the list, so that's,
Oh, they're not on the list?
No, yeah, they're not on the list.
Thanks for bringing that
Good point, Steph.
So we've started more businesses that are missing.
Mhm.
That may be one of them. So I started.
Again, I was just bringing up questions I'm playing devil's advocate. That's all I'm
You know,
doing.
if you're talking about Cosmos being in Northview, what about Julio's?
Okay.
Marino Brothers, over in Glen Elk.
I mean, I think you're exactly right, Mr. Mayor. I mean, there's only one access to Glen Elk that's free of any construction, and that's getting off Chestnut Street and going up Baltimore Avenue. I mean, what about you're right, what about those businesses?
Northview.
They're affected by it.
You could go.
Northview, a water board project. If people want to be upset, I've had more than 20 calls now. I'm being very kind, and I get where they're coming from. Go to Department of Highways, go talk to the water board.
Well,
If we want to take responsibility for the water board, then pull the water board under the city, and we will take responsibility for Northview. It's not our project.
Well, to specify then, for all these and the encompassing of where the downtown infrastructure grant program is eligible, did the city do any sewer line projects on Main from Second to Fifth?
We did sewer throughout most of this whole area. The sewer.
Right here on Main?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, I mean, I guess to be critical of the point, we're saying we're blaming it on the water board.
I'm not.
Wait, I'm just trying to make a comment. So if that's what we're saying, it's not consistent though, because we're tearing up the road. It's not us, it's the water board or Hope Gas, but yet we're saying we're going to give you money because our sewer project isn't affecting you. I mean, it's the same.
It is consistent.
Principle.
It's one combined project from Menards down to just past the bridge, from Hardee's all the way to Twisted
Because that's where we're paving, right?
No, we are doing work down by Twisted Spoke, our sewer department. We did work up by Hardee's. We did work.
But we didn't do work on Main in front of City Hall or on 4th Street.
Again, I don't know the maps off the top.
Well, I'd say we probably should got a map before we vote on this thing.
The sanitary lines were lined internally from manhole to manhole from 6th Street down through.
But that didn't affect the road, my point.
But they had equipment out to do that. We had roads shut down. At some point, we had equipment from almost every company affecting this whole area for this whole project.
I think it does come down to our, one thing that we did push, we wanted it all done before, so the DOH can pave all at once. I mean, we did push that. That is one thing when I tell everybody else, when they're, they have issues with the road, I tell them, listen, yeah, we did push for that. I am in favor of us trying to get Main Street, Pike Street all done before the road is paved. So, I mean, I personally take responsibility, not me personally, but as a city, I think we should take responsibility for that portion of it, because we did push for that.
I don't understand why all these businesses are not in compliance.
I was gonna mention that, but I didn't.
You know, that's what, you know, Salisbury, raised hell because nobody could get in her place, but she's not in compliance. Go figure, no?
Maybe she couldn't get here.
Oh, come on, man. Now you're splitting hairs, Mr. Howell. Oh, come on.
But I mean, there's some that's in compliance, and me personally don't believe they are. Just looking at them. Well, I'm not gonna mention names up
Give us a
here in the
number.
public.
Give us-
25.
25.
That's sold. They're not even eligible.
They are eligible.
How are they eligible? That owner is new. He has not suffered anything from the construction.
So, again,
Has he? Has his sales diminished? He bought something with the sales when he bought it. So he's really starting out at a lower number. He can only go up.
so again, it wasn't to the owners, it was to the business.
Okay,
As long as it was open for 90 days, between March 1st and
Now we're
December
really
31st, that business gets that funding.
glad we're not splitting hairs anymore.
We're splitting.
And see, and I think at the end of the day, this is why I wish this would have went to a work session. I mean, and people are gonna say, well, we talked a little bit about it at a past work session. We didn't talk about this. You know, we didn't have this list. What we had was, we had an outline of what the program would look like, and it was under a resolution, so we had one opportunity to vote for it, and that was it. Like, even with the last agenda item, that's all we're asking for. When you come up with the structure, you come up with the plan, have a work session that we could look at all the facts and we can make tweaks. That way I'm not wasting everybody's time by putting agenda item G on here to have discussion after the damn thing's been voted.
So you're saying like have a work session like we did for the advisory committee? Then have another work session, have another.
But what we talk about, Vice Mayor, did we say we're gonna have a business advisory committee? Did we say that during the work session?
We can talk for 5 hours during a meeting. We've done it plenty of times. We could have asked these questions last meeting. We chose not to.
Well, so on number 20,
You're not engaged, you're not engaged. That's not my fault, Wayne.
no.
Okay. We have a motion and a second.
We don't even know what we're doing.
We're not considering it.
That's twice now we've heard that.
We just discussed it, so unless somebody wants to
I think I'm just
consider
asking.
something to make it
I don't
better.
know. I just want clarification. So I thought hairdressers were not involved, were not included.
The business is included. There was no exemptions from retail, service and retail. Service retail.
Where is number 22 at? Just
Oh, so that's down, where the ice plant is, there's a restaurant in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Jerry, I don't hang out down there.
This list?
Used to hang out there when I used on Clean Street.
So did the project go all the way down Monticello?
Yes.
Okay. That news to me. I don't think I realized
Entire
that.
gas line was down there, the sewer was down there,
Okay.
and the water was, part of it was down there.
Okay.
Yeah, you can even get a sewer
Oh.
bus down there.
Oh, okay. I do remember some of those complaints. All right. I'll just remind people, and I brought this up last week or last time, and I did the math with my calculator. We were all very proud of me doing math. So that's right. Don't worry. Only counting the 4, Mr. Mayor. So 34 businesses doesn't take up all of our $150,000 from the ARPA funding. If we extended it out to 50 businesses, that would be $60,000 from the Economic Development Fund.
We're not doing the list either, keep that in mind.
We said we were
This-
missing 3 or 4.
At that rate now, I haven't finished it all yet. At this time, that's what I know. But again, we're going business by business throughout downtown because we don't want to miss anybody.
Oh, okay. Well, and I understand that, but that was 3 weeks ago. So I assumed that in 3 weeks. One. Yeah, today would be the third week. I assumed that this was a complete list. Okay.
No, we don't need a motion and second on this.
No.
We don't need any kind of consideration on this unless someone wants to make a consideration to change anything. But the reason why I even brought up a discussion is because we didn't have a work session on it. So this is the only time that I felt like I could have a discussion, is to put it on a regular meeting agenda as a discussion. So, and I guess we figured out, we got a lot of information from this. Matter of fact, I didn't have this list the last time.
No, she just made it.
So that's it. That's all I gotta say.
I was gonna say, we can make a motion to put it on pause.
What's that, Mr. Hunter?
Well, I mean, if the idea is to revisit it and go back to it, I don't see why we couldn't. And I'm not making this motion, but it could be moved to put the program on pause or reevaluate it, or that's the beauty of.
Have we already written checks?
Yes.
Oh,
I started going out the next day.
Well, I'm glad I voted no.
But so was the application done the next day?
Yes.
Why didn't we see it? Why didn't we see it when we voted on it? My understanding was that the application wasn't done.
It wasn't. I created it with Jason and Kiana.
Who? Jason and who?
Kiana, she works down in finance.
Okay.
Because she had to pull all the information in regards to business license and fire fees.
Okay. I would just ask if we didn't have it done on Thursday, but we had it done the next day. Let's get that done for the meeting so we can see it. I was under the assumption that this took another week, and
So you guys want to approve the actual application?
I would like to see it as part of the program.
Well, if it's part of the program, we definitely should, I think, moving forward.
We're talking about a piece of paper.
What?
Well, and I think there's a bigger discussion about completing the application for them and all of those things. We can have a discussion about how we want to handle these things going forward. But we already let the cat out of the bag for this one, I guess.
I just don't, I get what you're saying, but
Yeah.
We voted on parameters, we had opportunity
You're-
to discuss it there, we built that, so we're building the application as we voted on it. I just don't, I don't.
Well, I understand. Vice Mayor, I understand what you're saying, and I'm just saying, if the application is completed within 8 hours, within the next workday of the meeting that we had the night before, just have the application done so we can see it. That's all I'm asking.
Or send it to us once you get it done.
Because I had to ask for it, and I didn't see it until a couple of days after.
I don't disagree with you saying, I just think this whole process or how we're handling it right now is just wrong. I think if we getting these questions or emails after we voted on this, I think we're looking at this wrong. I don't think this is the process. I don't think we try to stop things that we've already voted on. We already said yes on it. So this should have been either a reconsideration or there should have been something new. I don't know what the point was of this. I like that we're getting things done. Things take forever a lot of times.
Yeah.
We can talk about bringing it to a work session, but then if we bring it to a work session, we have to bring it to another work session sometimes. And I'm not trying to be critical. I'm the least impatient person up here, clearly. But I want to get things done, and I don't want to talk about things 5 different times. I want to discuss it. Staff understands our points when we make it. And if we don't make a point, I think staff will probably see it as like they don't have really an opinion on it. So if you we do have opinions on, we make the opinions, but we allow staff to do their jobs.
Right.
And I know several councilors up here at one time was in favor of staff doing their jobs.
Well,
And not you, Martin. I wouldn't.
I didn't say you were. I'm just saying it for you.
I'm just saying, like, this was all about allowing staff to do their jobs. This is our job. We're supposed to put the people in positions to follow our lead and then carry it out.
And I agree, but so I think that puts our job as oversight. And I think if we're talking about oversight, then I think that again, maybe we were wrong for progressing it without seeing the application.
But there's a fine line between oversight and micromanaging. Now, to me, I say bravo. Our team came to us on Thursday and they told us the idea. We voted on it, we approved it, and the next day they got the application done. That's what it's all about. We don't need to micromanage every move that they make. I mean, you want people who are independent and they're capable individuals of getting things done that we vote on. That's what this is all about.
I agree. But I would also say, I don't think we want to micromanage, but I think if the staff has a idea to implement, I think that should be in a structure that we get at a work session written out so we understand exactly what A, B, and C, and D are. And then if Councilman Worth doesn't like D, Councilman Jackson despises C, I mean, that's the discussion we need to start having at those meetings. That's what the work session's for, is to have that. And
Clarification, this was not an idea that came from staff. This was a request of multiple
It was.
members.
well, in general, I forget about this item right here. I'm just talking in general about work sessions. So I don't have to come to meetings and hear that I want things done and we got to act to get things done and this and that. I just want to say, if we're going to have a work session, let's have the documentation that we can review at the work session, ask all of our questions at the work session, and then come here and either make a point, vote no, vote yes, or whatever.
But don't we have? Isn't it on us to say that this item came to us last meeting? It came to us. We table things all the time. Was it not? Is it not on us to table it and say, hey, I have more questions, or hey, I need more answers? I think it's on us, and I think I mean we can table it. We table it all the time. I mean I know. I mean I think we should do it that route. So staff works on it. They get as close as they think. They bring it to us. If we don't agree on it, they got to go back to the drawing table, or we go to the drawing table on the work session. I think that's just the most efficient way.
You know, Vice Mayor, that's a good point, and maybe I should have made a motion to table at the last meeting.
I mean, we do it all the time, so I mean, which is fine. That's part of the
And
process.
probably should have went to a work session afterwards so we could discuss it. And I'm not saying that, you know, I think staff worked really hard on this. I'm saying that we could have tweaked it a little bit better, at least come up with some sort of agreement at a work session instead of just trying to figure all this out in 15 minutes, you know, before we had to pass a resolution. But you're right. Maybe we should have motioned to table.
If we just show up on Thursdays, that's not us doing our job either. I don't think it is.
If I can make one comment, Mr. Mayor, also the packages are sent to council on Monday generally. Again, if you have questions before Thursday, if council emails me, I think most of council would attest, I answer emails within the same business day. There's council members that ask questions and call me right away, and there's ones that don't, and I think a lot of your questions could be answered, or at least have the information, so that when you come to Thursday, you could have that informed discussion.
I think you're correct, except for the fact that if I'm going to ask a question, usually I'm asking the question for the benefit of other council members.
Well,
So
you actually
let me finish. Because I think when we have these discussions, I think it's healthy. And I think it's good so we all can learn from each other of where we're coming from for things. But I mean, if we want to privately ask everything or privately direct things, I can do that. I'll be in your office at 8 a.m.
Why, my question is, why isn't our packets delivered on Mondays like it used to be?
Council
Put a
didn't
stop
want
to
them.
that.
Council didn't want them delivered.
I don't
I want them delivered.
And then asked that, and.
I want mine delivered.
I don't.
Yes, I would like mine to.
I'll read my email.
They're driving around the neighborhood anyways. Why can't they drop them off?
They're not-
When did you pick up your packet?
They're not
Question,
FedEx.
when did you pick up your packet?
Monday, I signed into my account on Monday, and I read through the packet on Monday evening, sitting in my house in my living room, because I knew it was there. I mean,
picked
that's what
mine
it's
up
all
Monday
about.
too. Or Tuesday morning, I picked mine up. But don't you think it's better to have you drop it off to us?
No, I don't.
Why?
They're not FedEx, and I don't think that that's one of their
I
responsibilities.
think for the sake of our mental well-being, we need to move on from this item.
I second that.
That's fine. All right.
Update regarding Dairy Advisors Prevent and Protect Program.
You, Steve.
The man with the plan. Let's hear it.
Bearing Advisors, March 20th of 2025, you all decided in the council meeting that we wanted to participate in the Prevent program. We now are at a position where we have a definitive date on February the 17th. Finance Department is going to hold a meeting with Prevent Protect staff to try to get the mock payroll in place. There's a lot of things that happened in between there. If you'd like for me to read chronologically, I can. But it's been taking quite a bit longer than we had anticipated. Some of that was as a result of some information that Bearing Advisors requested. And there was probably 3 or 4 months of dialogue back and forth until we finally came to a compromise as to which information we were allowed to give out legally for the protection of our employees. There were some initial indications that marital status and some other pieces and parts of the employees' information didn't have to be included when we sent them the blind audit that they requested. They called back and they wanted some W-4 information from 2019, 2020, 2021, which is not part of the records that's accessible in Encode. It was going to require a little bit more, but also was going to provide them the marital status and number of kids. Now, this is all information that they need to effectively be able to sit down with each employee individually and provide them with a proper examination and interpretation of what they're eligible for. So through the loss of a payroll clerk, she left sometime in the spring. We transitioned somebody out of payroll. That gentleman hadn't been doing payroll ever. This is his first opportunity. There's been a few hiccups in that learning curve with Michael. We also ran into some issues with, at the same time, changing over with our police and fire from a bi-monthly paycheck, which has been historically on the 15th and the 30th. We learned through a 4-hour webinar with Fair Labor Standards Act corporate or legal attorney that we would be better served as a city to maybe go to a bi-weekly paycheck. This helped us solidify this ongoing legal issue we can and try to minimize potentially the impact that we might have as far as back pay for the firefighters. All this has led to, each time one of these things happen, it led to a pushback on the program. So in September, our contact with Bearing Advisors was the young lady named Emily White. It was the latter part of September, early part of October, when we were going to go to a bi-weekly paycheck for the firefighters and police officers. This was going to change it from 2 pay periods a month that Michael was going to have to do to sometimes 3, mostly 3, sometimes 4 pay periods a month because of the way the cycles might fall in that month. That was going to put a little more burden on him to try to conduct this blind audit and the mock payroll. We did find out through Encode that we can do a mock payroll that probably is not going to be as much of an issue because we can do it kind of what they call in the dark or a ghost payroll, where because he's got to go in, he's got to turn on a bunch of check boxes that's not normally encoded for our employees currently. And then when he's done, he's got to go back in and uncheck all those boxes. So we were fearful that during this time frame, if he would turn something on and forget to turn it off, you all know the problems that we've had with hiccups with payroll, specifically with the firefighters. The last thing we wanted to do was put our personnel in a position where, yet again, we've got another little hiccup on their pay period. That's the one thing we want to remain consistent, and I want to say that we have with that pay periods. So it was a decision between Emily and I and the staff here working on this program to push this program to a point where it coincided with open enrollment with both PEIA and all the other insurance vendors that we have. So our goal is to provide them with their mock payroll on the 17th or just barely after that on February. That'll give them time to come back to the city. They'll have the entire month of March to set up individual one-on-one meetings with each employee to see because they'll have the information necessary to be able to better interpret what they can do for that employee. And then open enrollment will coincide starting April 1st, just as they do with all the others. So if the employee has another program, another insurance that they're participating in currently, and Bearing Advisors has something equal to or better that's cheaper alternative that doesn't impact their pay, they can back out of one and go into another one without any double or overlays, if that makes sense to you.
Are you anticipating any issues? Like on
No,
February
sir, we are
17th?
not. Everybody seems to be in play. We got through the end of the year. All the W-2s are out. We don't have any programs or plans coming into place. I mean, we're ready and we're focused on this 17th date to sit down with payroll. We've been provided with the check boxes for Encode. So everything is ready and we're ready to hit the ground running on the 17th. Is that it? You guys got anything you need to ask me? Go ahead, Martin.
I'll get you offline.
Okay. Thank you.
Do it. Sir.
Council comment?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.